Y'all thought I fell off the face of the earth, huh? No.
First one, yeah.
Subscribe. I'll probably put this at the beginning of the video because I know no one's gonna watch to the end. So subscribe for me real quick. You feel me? Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's the boy Burst Boy back for another video. Damn, look at what day it is. Friday. Free rounds community, how y'all doing? We may have ended on rough terms, but it's been damn near 2 months. I gotta do a recap. Welcome back to Free Round Fridays. Don't know if it's gonna be a continuous thing. Might drop this, might dip out. Don't know. We just gonna hop right into the Discord on September 6th. Today is what, the 30th of October? Almost 2 months. Let's see what Mayhem's talking about. I haven't seen any of this yet. You probably have. If so, you can leave the video. Bars. Okay, so September 6th, Mayhem said, "Unfortunately, I didn't get around to the website changes as planned, but for good reason. We've come to a point where we have to start making decisions on the cost of operation." Damn, so it's starting to cost money now. This includes the website and related services. Luckily, we're also at a point where we can plan ahead of time in an effort to reduce costs. This turned out being a lot more complicated than I initially anticipated, so the current dated website will live another day. How easy did you think this is going to be? That's what I'm saying. Like, you trying to bring a whole game back without outside funds coming in? To help reduce future costs, I've been setting resource goals to make everything as light as possible. This should help set us on a path to sustained operation. Hopefully this doesn't have an effect on the full game, and hopefully it's still free rounds. Hopefully it's just not bootleg free rounds, you know? It already is, technically. What I did get to though was the customization system mentioned last week. This system turns out to be more useful than I imagined. We can control materials and animations of any NPCs or object in the world. While not fully integrated yet, we can add it to our list of things we can use when adding new content if/when we get to it. Also, more work on collections was done. We can now add/remove items from collections dynamically. Before we were limited to just a notification at the top of the screen, but now we have the items actually showing up as unlocked on the menu screen. Collections continue to be a priority to encourage exploration, and they're definitely something we're wanting to have at launch. The fuck is collection? When did we do collections? I don't remember no shit about collections, bro. I just went into my dungeons, defeated my goblins, got my XP, and left. Now that was for September 6th. The following week, is he doing weekly updates now? We might be back every week then. We'll see. 6, 13, 20. That's 7 days in between. September 13th. Loading the game's levels remains one of the more time-consuming items still left on our to-do list. While a lot of progress has been made, there are many pieces that make up this process. After some recent work, it has been discovered that some areas of the world use different versions of the game engine from being updated at different times. Sunstone Valley and its neighboring areas, for example, use a different version that includes more information we also have to decipher. This problem has found itself back at the forefront of our priorities as it is needed for proper NPC movement in some areas to prevent floating. You don't want shit floating. You don't want trees floating. You don't want bushes floating. You damn sure don't want niggas you gotta talk to get the quest to be floating. Let me get my quest. Now a quick preview for what's to come on our YouTube channel and possibly Twitter for the next video we show of Sunrise, which with any luck will be sometime soon. We hope to show combat in its mostly functional glory. It's still to be determined which instance we will show, but it will definitely be some type of random encounter. Oh, me? Don't worry about me. I'm just looking to see if they uploaded a video. Nope, no video. Finally, we've reached a stage where we have to decide what to and not to include in our initial launch in terms of NPCs. Obviously and unfortunately, we won't have everything at the start, and so we have to cut some things at the beginning. The garden below, for example, likely won't be totally functional at launch, but it will be present. We are hoping to include all NPCs, but not all of them are guaranteed to be interactable at the start. I keep saying NPCs, just say sprites. You don't think people know about sprites. I know about sprites. I did a little bit of coding back in my day. September 20th. Many levels such as the seaside encounter level below were reused for many combat instances. The one shown was used for the seaside swooper battle and duels in Seaside among others. This week we did a lot of matching of levels to their appropriate minigame. We also did matching of spawn points of both players and NPCs, particularly for duels/group battles. Where did you spawn? Did you ever spawn at your house? Or was it always in Sacred Grove? Or that little pavilion? We also continue to identify instances, spawn locations for single player minigames, of which we have most so far, housing lot instances in particular. In earlier versions of the game, combat was drastically different. As a result, we've had to navigate around remnants in the game that were used for the older system. This slowed combat development a bit, since combat isn't as well fleshed out as other features, and thus we've had to figure out what was and what wasn't actually used by the end of the game. This goes for many things unused in development features as well, but it also means we could introduce some of these other in development features at a later date should we see fit. Damn, that's a lot. September 27th. I've been gone a while, bro. A lot of the minigames, racing, demo derby, fishing, soccer, pirates, plunder, relied on a specific system that limited some aspects of the game and or used specific controls. While not all of these are slated to be available right at launch, we still need this system in place as it is related to instanced encounters. What is with this word instance, bro? It is just another example of what I mean by this continuously expanding to-do list of things before launch. Luckily though, we've got most of these down. And there's more updates on the minigames side of things. The game screen has seen some progress. This screen shows each type of minigame and the levels available. Because not all types of minigames will work from the start, some may not appear. Similarly, some combat levels under battles may be forever locked until they are re-added. The battles menu is shown below. Note that some of the levels shown may or may not be available. This is still to be announced. That was it for September. Now we on to October. October 5th, 2020. Note, there will be 2 updates this week since yesterday's is being posted today. Sorry about the delay, things have been a bit chaotic lately. Last week, inventory. For some reason, there appears to be some unused lightsaber related stuff in the game related to items. There's lightsabers? Or is that just like a coding term? I'd like to point to these unused things out since some of you may find it interesting, and also to once again show that there's a lot of things we could try adding in the future. But back to actual inventory stuff, consumption of items has seen some work. Finally, properly updating the item display in the action bar. The action bar in general is still a WIP as we only have some of its basic components functional, such as using items and cooldowns, but just like with everything in the game, there's a lot of information we still have to gather. It's not currently known whether we will impose any item number limits, but as always we strive for accuracy, and so we hope to replicate the same rules that applied in the original game. This goes for all limitations that may exist. This is for better or for worse. I know they're trying to work to get us the exact same game, but the thing is, this is Free Roam Sunrise. This ain't Free Roams. So do we want some changes? Do we want some new things? I would want some new graphics, but you know, this is a one-man project, so it's like, don't want to ask too much. You feel me? Gotta keep it on track, you know? I want to try and incorporate more about our current status regarding launch into each of these posts toward the end, starting today. Honestly, there are many barriers that still must be solved before we can finalize a launch plan. Cost? Costing you or costing me? I thought this shit was gonna be free, my boy. Come on now. Cost, signups, enforcement, and how people will play, to name a few. At the same time, these are problems that are actively being assessed already, such as cost and enforcement. So we aren't in the worst shape per se, but there's still some time to go. This man really doing weekly updates, bro. October 11th. Now perhaps more than ever, it's abundantly clear that we've got lots ahead of us in terms of recreating the data necessary for the entire game. To put it into perspective, there are over 5,000 abilities with multiple effects for each one, 100,000 NPCs, over 90,000 items, and the list goes on and on and on. To put it lightly, we're going to have to create some type of community system to get even half of this in due time. We're looking into what solutions we could come up with. Nonetheless, we will launch with the basics and try to include as much as possible, hopefully increasing the rate at which things are added as time progresses. In all, there is an unbelievable amount of data missing for core gameplay elements. If we had this data already, we could probably launch the whole game in a matter of months, rather than just the basics. I don't care. Release anything. I'll take the basics. I'll take the basic of the basics. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one, or at least I won't fault you or anyone who's working on the game for not having it perfect. As for what was done this week, abilities, ability effects, and more minigame system work, fishing, pirates plunder specifically, the effects from abilities when hitting targets or launching the ability, and the abilities themselves in the character screen have been worked on. I know what abilities he's talking about. These features, to my surprise, also require a ton of information that we also now have to collect. Not to worry though, since as always we're taking it steps at a time. For now, we are going for the basics and including only the first few levels for whichever jobs we choose to focus on. Ninja, brawler, adventurer, fuck the mailman, fuck the chef. I guess you could do the racer, was that what it was called? Or demo derby, something? I guess warrior and wizard, wizard was cool. Warrior, basically brawler. Archer, gotta put the archer, especially for my girl Regina. Shout out Regina FRS. As for launch, I am beginning to think we may need to cut down on the number of levels we start with, maybe a few extraneous features. Perhaps we should focus on supporting a wider variety of jobs rather than more levels for specific jobs. I'm thinking we should have a Twitter poll or something of that nature to better adjust our priorities. We want this launch to be as best as possible for the community, including just enough to have a reasonably playable launch with enough to do to get everyone by for a while. What's the maximum amount of characters you can make? 4? I will make 4 different characters and complete as many levels as you give us for each and every one. October 18th, 2020. As I'm sure this is not a surprise to anyone, it's been decided that the new website is on hold until we iron out a few more aspects of the game itself to make sure everything integrates out of the box for launch. Not to worry though, as we still have artists working on other aspects of it. This week, we focus on continued work on features of the coin store, item bundles, item groups, tinting, categories, as well as level research needed for aspects of combat and other minigames. This research has taken quite a while since it is uncharted territory, but once it is done, we'll be well on our way to fully featured accurate combat and snowballs. You telling me y'all hacking into fucking Sony database? Daybreak database? Uncharted areas? I seen Uncharted gameplay. Shit ain't no joke, bro. You can't be trespassing like that. In other news, Card Duelist will be a starting job at launch, though it is unlikely TCG will be around. Card Duelist? You want us to start with Card Duelist? That was one of the jobs I never touched. We want to include it as an alternative job to Adventurer for other clothing outfits. Hold on, so are there specific clothes that the Card Duelist can get that the Adventurer can wear? Is what you're saying? Because if the Card Duelist got better swag that I can give to my Adventurer, I'm okay with that. I'm all about the swag. Last week was all about fine-tuning the chat system, specifically the filter. I've seen a lot of people concerned about this, and I want everyone to know that we are taking the quality of the filter very seriously compared to previously. As social features of the game are of utmost importance, we want to be sure everyone can have the best experience possible. To take this a step further, we have been looking at even supporting multiple languages past English, similar to the way the original game did. We hope to be more inviting of people from all over the world rather than focusing on purely English-speaking people. As a result, we've been taking our sweet time, to put it lightly, on the filter and making sure that it remains safe while also as frustration free as possible. It is likely that it will have to be adjusted substantially during the first weeks of launch, but that's to be expected. We'll be monitoring it as closely as we can to ensure it works best for all. Aside from chat, we've been taking extra care lately ensuring that everything required for FRS will run on even the most ancient hardware, specifically so that people can try to run the game from their old computers with the game still present if they see fit. This will also help ensure we reach the most amount of people once we do launch. This includes ensuring that Mac users can play the game as well. Yes. Once again, this post is a day later than I intended, but that's honestly due to work on the game being prioritized above all else. As always though, we will have posts each week as promised, so there will be another post later this week as well. You heard it here first from Mayhem himself. Weekly updates, weekly videos. If I can turn one of those little paragraphs into video format, I can do that. I can definitely do that. But there you have it. There go the Free Realms updates. I've been going a long time, but I'm back, baby. And you heard Mayhem. Weekly updates hopefully means weekly videos. So, you know, what I'm hearing is they are making progress, but it is going to be longer than a couple months. So maybe not even early next year or mid next year. Maybe even a year from now. That's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you scroll down and subscribe. We're on the way to 200 subs by the end of the year. I know we can do it because I be getting so many views on these videos compared to everything else, bro. It's not even funny anymore, dude. You know how many of my viewers aren't subscribed? 90% of y'all watching this video aren't subscribed. Free Realms, we back. I'm back and I'm better. So I'm out. Peace.